Okay, so let's start the next topic, that is shortest path. Now let's assume that there is a motorist who wish to find the shortest possible route between two cities. Okay, and there is a road map given, okay, of that country or of that state, on which distances between each pair of cities is given. Okay, now how can we determine the shortest route between two points on the road map? Okay, so there is one possible way, and that is we can enumerate all the routes which are between the two given points or two selected points, and then add the distance of all such routes, right, and then select the minimum one. But the problem is this: even if we disallow any cycles in the route, then also there are millions of possibilities, right, and few possibilities are not worth seeing it, right. So in this unit we will see how we can solve this problem much more efficiently. Okay, and the simple intuition is we can model the problem into a graph problem, right, where the cities will act as a vertices of the graph, and the road segment between the cities will act as the edges. Okay, and the distance given on the road is actually the edge weight. Okay, and the problem is now we have to find the shortest path between two vertices, okay, which is actually representing two cities. Okay, so let's see. So in shortest path problem we are actually given a weighted directed graph, okay, that is G. Okay, and there is a weight function W which maps edges to real values. Okay, now what is our goal? Our goal is to find the shortest path from U to V. Okay, so what is the weight of the path? So suppose there is a path from V0 to Vk. Okay, this is some path P. What is the weight of that path? It is actually the sum of weights of all the edges between this nodes. Okay, so since this is a path, so there is a edge from V0 to V1, there is a edge from V1 to V2, okay, till Vk. Okay, Vk minus 1 to Vk. Now our so weight of this path is actually the sum of weight of all these edges which are involved. Okay, so if since there are k nodes, so I will vary from 1 to k, and we have to take weight of each edge. Okay, so there is a edge between each vi minus 1 to vi. This become weight of the path. Okay, and suppose if there is so what is the shortest path weight from U to V? So shortest path weight is defined by delta of UV. So what is the weight of the shortest path between U to V? What we need to take, we will actually find the minimum weight of the path which are there of the existing path between U to V. Okay, so if there exists a path from U to V, we will select the path which is having minimum weight on the path, right, and if there is no path between U to V, then we will call it as infinity. Okay, and here I would like to make a note that it is possible that there are multiple shortest path from U to V. Okay, multiple shortest path means you can go from U to V following this path also and this path also, and both are having equal weight. That is the shortest weight. Okay, so if the shortest weight is W, so it is also having a W, right? So what I'm trying to say here is the value is unique. The value of shortest path weight from U to V is unique, but there could be multiple such paths which is having the same shortest weight, right? And shortest path weight is denoted by delta of U comma V. Okay, this is the shortest path weight from U to V. Okay, so we will use this term again and again. Okay, now there are some variations in this. So the first type of shortest path is single source shortest path. Okay, what do we mean by this? It means we have to find a shortest path from a given source, okay, to every other vertex in the graph. Okay, so single destination shortest path means actually what we have to do, we have to just reverse the direction of each edge in the graph, and then we so that we can reduce this problem to a single source problem. Okay, so next variation is single pair shortest path. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to find the shortest path from u to v for a given vertices u and v. So somebody is giving only two vertices and we have to find shortest path. Okay, so this is a single pair and you have to find the shortest path between these two. Okay, so if we solve single source shortest path problem, okay, what we can do, we can just select the source u, and then we can solve single source shortest path problem and just select the answer of reaching to b. Okay, so this is a special case of single source shortest path problem. Okay, and moreover there is no algorithm for this problem that can run asymptotically faster with the best single source algorithm in the worst case. Okay, so what actually I am trying to say here is, if we are able to do single source shortest path, then we are able to do single pair shortest path automatically. Okay, you just need to select that particular pair out of it. Now all pair shortest path means you have to find the shortest path from u to v for every pair of u and v. Okay, now this problem can also be solved by running the single source algorithm once for each vertex. Okay, but definitely it can be there is an algorithm through which we can do it in a faster way, and we will see that, right? So ultimately the conclusion is, we just have to first follow this algorithm. We just want to solve this problem, single source shortest path problem. Once we solve this problem, if somebody will ask single destination shortest path, then we will just reverse the edge and then solve the same problem. It will solve this problem automatically. Similarly, if somebody asks single pair shortest path problem, then in the single source shortest path, we will select the source with one of the vertex which is given in the pair, and then we can find out the path which is there to the next vertex, right, or the next given pair. So basically there are two problems which are important. The first one is single source shortest path. This is very, very important, because if we can solve this problem, all the other problems are automatically solved. But we will also have a look at all pair shortest path problem, which we can do a little bit more efficiently rather than applying single source shortest path on each and every vertex. Okay, so good, let's start. Now it also may be possible that there are negative weight edges, okay, in the graph. So it may be possible that this is not a distance between two cities, maybe this is something else. Okay, this may be some penalties or some loss or something like that, right? Some gain which is there. So it may be possible, so if we generalize this problem, it may be possible that there are negative weights on the edges. Okay, and such graphs are called negative weighted directed graph. Okay, so if there is a negative weight, the problem is it will also create a negative weight cycle. Okay, and if we follow the negative weight cycle, then finding shortest path between two vertex which is having a negative cycle in between is not well defined. Why? Because you can take this cycle, you can walk through this cycle again and again many times. Okay, so it will lead us nowhere. So if such cycle are reachable from the source, then the shortest path weight is not properly defined, because we can keep going on the cycle and can get more negative weights like that, right? So in such cases we will put the weight of such pair as minus infinity. Okay, so let me just show you an example. So now suppose this is the given graph and S is the source. Okay, this is the source and we have to find the distance of or the shortest path from all the other vertex from the source. Okay, now what is the shortest path distance from S to A? It is 3, right? Why? Because there is one edge which will lead to 3. Is there any other way to go to 3? No, in this particular graph there is no other way, right? So the answer for SA, shortest path weight for SA, is actually the weight of S comma A, which is 3. Okay, so we have write 3 here. Now what is the shortest path weight from S to B? So from S to B, so we can follow this path. Okay, so the weight is 3 minus 4, that is minus 1. Okay, so you can reach from S to B in the shortest weight is minus 1 actually. Okay, so is there any other way to go to B? No, there is no other way, right? So this is also well defined. Now if we want to go from S to C, okay, now there are infinitely many paths to go from S to C. Okay, so one path will give you 5, that is SC. So this is one path. Is there any other path? Yes, there is SCDC, SC, D and C. This is also a path. This is also a path. Okay, and then now you can take one more turn. You can take one more turn and then come to it. Okay, so you can increase turn one by one and it will give you many paths. Okay, so now what is the shortest path weight? Okay, now this is important concept. So let's see what is the shortest path, what is the weight of this path. This is 5. Okay, so if you go directly from S to C, it will give you 5. Okay, so this is 5. Let's follow this path. Okay, let's take one cycle and come to C. So we will just go, so we will do 5 plus 6 minus 3. Okay, so 5 plus 6 minus 3 will actually give you 8. Okay, so the weight of this path is 8, so on so forth. So see, each time we increase one more cycle, we are actually adding plus 3 every time. Why? Because this is a positive cycle weight. This is a positive cycle. Okay, this is not a negative weight cycle. Okay, so if you take this cycle, each time it will increase 3. Why? Because it is 6 and it is minus 3. So 6 minus 3 will give you plus 3. So there is no sense of repeating this cycle again and again. Okay, and therefore the shortest weight from S to C is 5, although there are negative edges in the path. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Same for S to B also. Okay, so there is a negative weight edge, but negative weight edge is not a problem. Negative weight cycle is a problem. Okay, if there is a cycle which is having positive weight, then also it is not a big problem. Okay, because positive cycle always increase the weight, so there is no sense of moving through that cycle. Okay, so far so good, everything is fine. Okay, so let's move forward. So we have done for A, B and C. Okay, now let's see S to E. Okay, so let's see this S to E. So S to E weight is 2. Okay, so there are also again infinitely many cycles, right? So the first edge, direct edge is S to E, whose weight is 2. Okay, this edge. Okay, now let's move the cycle. Now if you notice that this is a negative weight cycle, if you take one round, it will decrease our weight by minus 3, because this is 3 minus 6. Okay, so what is the weight of this path? This is 2. So S to E, there is a 2. Then from E to F we are having plus 3, and then there is minus 6. Okay, so the weight is -1. If you take the cycle again, it will again decrease the weight by -3. Okay, so the weight of this path is actually -4. Okay, so you keep on doing this, but every time you will see that you will get a lesser weight, right? So we cannot properly define shortest weight from S to E on edge E. Okay, and therefore we will write -infinity. Okay, because the path from S to E has a negative weight cycle. And what is that negative weight cycle? It is EFE. Okay, EFE is a negative weight cycle which is there. Okay, so we can't find any path from S to E with arbitrary large negative weights. So actually, right? So we will say that this is -infinity. No shortest path exists. Right? Similarly, if you see, if you would like to find the shortest path from S to F, okay, again there is this cycle involved, which is a negative weight cycle, right? So the shortest weight for S to F is also not defined, and we will keep it as -infinity. Same with S to G. Okay, now why this -infinity? So this -infinity is different from +infinity, right? So let's see this example, this short example over here. Okay, Hij not reachable from S, because this is a disconnected component, right? So there is no H. So in that case the shortest weight is infinity. Okay, so we have already covered this. If we don't have any weight, if we don't find any weight, we will say it is -infinity. Otherwise we will take the minimum weight. Okay, but if there is a negative cycle, that minimum is not well defined. Okay, you can always, whatever I will give you, you can again find a more lesser weight. Okay, so therefore we will write -infinity if negative cycle is coming from S to any node. If any node which is not reachable from S, then we will put infinity plus infinity there actually. Okay, otherwise we will put the actual shortest weight, right? Good. So now about cycles. So can shortest path contain cycles? Okay, so now here are some questions for you which are quite interesting. So do you think that shortest path have some cycle? Okay, so let's talk about negative weight cycle. So there is a big no for negative weight cycle. Why? Because shortest path is actually not well defined for negative weight cycles. Okay, now if those cycles are of positive weight, then by removing the cycle we can get a shorter path. Okay, and the aim is to get the shortest path. Okay, so why to keep that positive weight cycle? Now suppose there is a cycle of 0 weight. Okay, then there is no reason to use them anyways, right? So we can remove them to obtain a path with same weight. Okay, so ultimately what we are saying, in the shortest path there are no cycles, because there could not be negative cycle, there could not be positive cycle, and there is no sense in. Okay, now as we have seen in greedy paradigm and dynamic program paradigm, that there is some optimal substructure property which some problems have in them. Okay, so shortest path problem is also one such problem which is having optimal substructure property. Okay, so let us prove that here. So let's assume that we are given this weighted directed graph G, okay, with weight function W. Okay, and let there is a shortest path P from V1 to Vk. Okay, so this is a shortest path between V1 to Vk, and for any I and J such that I is greater than 1 and less than k, suppose. Okay, so for any I and J which is between this, okay, let Pij is the shortest path, or let Pij is the path between two vertex I and J, okay, which comes in the path. Okay, so we are actually having a shortest path from V1 to Vk, and there is some Vi at some point, and at some point there is some Vj. Okay, I and j lies between 1 and k, right? Now suppose the weight of the path between this, so there is a path from Vi to Vj, and let's call it as Pij. Okay, now what we are trying to say here is, so this subpath of P from vertex Vi to Vj, if there exists this path, not if there exists, actually it exists, but this is also a shortest path between Vi and Vj. This is what optimal substructure property is. So in the path you can take any two vertex, okay, and whatever weight written on that path is actually the shortest path between those two nodes also. Okay, so how to prove this? So we can prove it by contradiction, right? So what is the weight of P? Now one thing we know is P is the shortest path from 1 to k. Okay, and now we have to prove that if we take any ij in between, okay, and P is the path of between those two nodes, then its weight is also shortest weight, right? So let's prove this. So let's suppose we decompose the entire path P into these three things. Okay, so there is a path from V1 to Vi, there is another path from Vi to Vj which we have to look, then there is a path from Vj to Vk. Okay, now what is the weight of path P, which is the shortest path between V1 to Vk? It is weight of this path plus weight of this path plus weight of this path. Okay, now let's prove by contradiction. Let's assume that the weight of Pij is not the shortest path, okay, and there is some other path, say P dash ij, which is having lesser weight than V of Pij. Okay, there exists a path whose weight is less than this weight, right? So now, so there exists a path P from Vi to Gj whose weight is less than the weight of Pij. Okay, now let's put this into the equation. Okay, so if suppose what is, if we put, instead of taking this path Pij path, if we take P dash ij path, we will get this. Okay, and let's call it as weight of P dash, and definitely P dash is less than P. Okay, because what we are doing, we are removing this value and inserting a little less value in it. Okay, and this is a contradiction. Why? Because we are saying that P is the shortest path. If P is the shortest path between V1 to Vk, there exists no other path which is having weight less than Wp. Okay, so this is the contradiction, and therefore we can say that Pij is also a shortest path between Vi and Vj. Okay, so in this way we can prove that it follows optimal substructure theory. Okay, now there is also one more interesting lemma which is very simple, but it has very useful property of shortest path weights actually. Okay, and what it is saying is, again you can assume that we are having the same weighted graph, directed graph with weight function. Okay, and the source vertex is suppose S. Now what this lemma is, or what this inequality is saying actually is, for all the edges uv, okay, so for all the edges uv belongs to H set E, we have this property satisfied. What is this property? It is saying shortest path from S to V is always less than, you know, any other path you can take from any other node. Okay, so it is always less than this path. Okay, what is this path? So you can find out shortest path between S and U, and then you can find out shortest path between U and V. When you add up them, okay, so the weight which is written here, the shortest path weight which is written here is always less than or equal to, right? How we can prove that? So we can say a shortest path P from source S to vertex V has no more weight then any other path from S to V, because this is the shortest path, right? Now in which case they are equal? So they are equal if U is on the shortest path to V. Okay, so if we are having U on this path, then this is equal. SV is equal to shortest path from S to U plus shortest path from U to V. Then they are equal. Otherwise they are always less. Okay, because this is what we are seeing. So this is also called triangle inequality. Okay, so it behaves like a triangle. So if you can go, if there is a path in this way, no matter wherever you go, you can take many other paths, but all those paths are having more weight than the shortest way. Okay, and this path will become equal if our U vertex lies in between the path. So this is triangle inequality. So with this, I hope shortest path problem is clear to you, and we have also seen few important theorems that we will actually going to use to build our algorithms upon, right? Now in this particular chapter or unit, we will learn actually 3 algorithms, right? So the first algorithm is Bellman-Ford algorithm. Bellman-Ford algorithm allowed negative weights on the edges. Okay, but it obviously does not allow negative cycle which are reachable from source, right? Because shortest weight for negative cycle path is not, negative cycles are not defined actually, right? But it allow negative weights on the edges. There is Dijkstra is another algorithm which actually does not allow any negative weight on the edges. Okay, and there is, so both of this algorithm are actually single source shortest path problem. They will solve single source shortest path. And remember, we have seen that if we can solve this problem, then automatically we can solve all the other problems, right? So let's see. And there is one more algorithm, that is Floyd-Warshall algorithm, which is used for all pair shortest path, for finding all pair shortest